A professor came to teach college students. What's your name? My name is Alex. Alex, please leave my class. I don't want to see you in my classroom again. The girl was confused. I don't understand. I don't want to repeat it again, thank you. The girl had to pack up and leave the classroom. The classmates in the classroom chose to be indifferent. Why do we need laws, or what is the role of laws? To protect personal rights. The professor felt a little disappointed. To maintain social order? The professor was still not satisfied. Fairness and justice? Yes, thank you. Tell me, did I treat your classmate unfairly just now? The classmates nodded. Yes, I was unfair. Then, why didn't you protest? Why didn't anyone try to stop me? Why didn't anyone want to stop this injustice? You didn't speak up just now because you thought you weren't affected. Speaking up might be disadvantageous to yourself and your future life. You thought it was none of your business. What I want to tell you is that if you don't contribute to justice, then sooner or later, you may encounter injustice, and no one will speak for you. Truth and justice require the joint efforts of all of us, because in life and work, we live in each other's environment, but we don't help each other. We comfort ourselves by saying that other people's problems have nothing to do with me, and then go home with a lucky joy. However, injustices happen every day, such as business, sports events, or on the subway. Relying on a few people to uphold justice is far from enough. In fact, we should stand up for each other. We have the obligation to fight for the rights of others and speak for those who can't speak. I am here to tell you the power of voice. I hope you learn critical thinking and let us have the courage to uphold justice, even if it means standing on the opposite side of everyone. Let's start now.
An elderly man encountered a young man who asked, "Do you remember me?" The elderly man replied, "No, I don't." The young man then told him that he had once been his student and had now become a teacher as well. Curious, the elderly man asked when the young man had decided to become a teacher. The young man began to tell a story. One day, a friend of mine, who was also my classmate, came into the classroom with a beautiful new watch. I wanted that watch so badly. So, I stole it, took it from his pocket. Shortly after, my friend realized his watch was missing and immediately reported it to you, my teacher. You addressed the whole class and said that whoever had taken the watch should hand it over. I didn't give it back. You closed the door and asked all of us to stand up. You walked around us, saying you would search our pockets. But you made us close our eyes, and only when we were all blindfolded would you look for the watch. You searched everyone's pockets and finally said, "I found the watch." You never said who stole it that day. You preserved my dignity on the most shameful day of my life, without scolding or calling me aside for a moral lesson. I clearly received your message. Teacher, do you remember this incident? The elderly man replied, "Yes, I remember the incident of the stolen watch and searching everyone's pockets. The reason I don't remember you is because I closed my eyes."
Once upon a time, a woman lost her way in the desert and went without water for 3 whole days. As she was about to collapse, she saw what seemed to be a lake several hundred yards ahead. She thought, could this be true? Or is it just a mirage? With her last ounce of strength, she staggered towards the lake and soon discovered that her prayers had been answered. It was not a mirage, but a vast lake fed by a large spring, filled with fresh water, more than she could ever drink in a lifetime. However, despite her dire thirst, she couldn't bring herself to drink the water. She just stood at the water's edge, staring down at it. At that moment, a man riding a camel passed by and noticed the woman's strange behavior. He dismounted his camel, walked over to the thirsty woman, and asked, "Why don't you drink some water, lady?" She looked up at the man with a tired and twisted expression on her face, tears welling up in her eyes. She said, "I'm dying of thirst, but there's too much water in the lake." The passerby smiled and, bending down, scooped up some water with his hand and held it to the woman's lips. He said, "Lady, your opportunity now, and for the rest of your life, is to understand that you don't have to drink the entire lake to quench your thirst. You only need to take a sip, just a sip. And if you want, you can take another sip. Focus only on the sip in front of you, and all the anxiety, fear, and pressure will gradually fade away."
A father said to his daughter, "Congratulations on graduating. I bought a car for you a while ago. Now I'm giving it to you. Before I give it to you, take it to the pawn shop in the city and see how much they offer you for it." The girl came back to her father and said, "They offered me $1,000 because it's a very old car." The father said, "All right, now take it to a car dealership." The girl came back to her father and said, "The dealership offered me $10,000. The father told her, "Join a car club with experts and let them take a look at the car." The girl drove the car to the car club, and after a few hours, she came back to her father and told him, "Someone in the club offered me $100,000 because it's a rare car in good condition." Then the father said, "I want you to know that if you're not in the right place, you're worth nothing. If you're not valued, don't get angry. It means you're in the wrong place. Don't stay in a place where no one sees your value. Everyone's value is unique, but they need to find the right platform and environment to showcase it. At the same time, we also need to maintain an open mindset, accept different opinions, and continuously learn and grow in the process. This way, we can better understand ourselves and find our own position and value.